Welcome back to another episode of East Coast Blue Jays. I'm your host, Patrick McGrath. Thank you all for coming in. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about Bowden Francis. Somebody asked me yesterday on a comment of one of my videos, could Bowden Francis possibly be a Cy Young candidate? That's a great question. I don't know. But before we get things going, if you're the 30% that have subscribed to our page, thank you so much here at East Coast Blue Jays. It's greatly appreciated. If you're the 70% that hasn't and like to follow the Blue Jays and like to follow our content, give us a little like and give us a subscribe. And at the end of this show, leave a little comment below and let me know how you feel about Bowden Francis and if you think he's possible a Cy Young or a candidate. So we'll get things going here. Here's Mr. Bowden Francis. He's a great guy, great teammate. He's as pure as you can get. He has so much fun in the field with the guys, and he's a big family man, just like myself. Hey, Pops and Mom. All right, so the question was, I'm just gonna pop it up here. So. One of our viewers asked us, do you think Bowden Francis can become a Cy Young candidate for the 2025 regular season? Wow, that's a great question. I know he's still a young man. He did pitch quite well, and I'll show you how well he pitched if I can bring this up here. Okay, here it is right here. So MLB Network tweeted, Bowden Francis in his last 13 starts last year, in 13 games, he played in 77 innings. He only allowed 45 hits. He only walked 13 baseball players. And he struck out 73, and his ERA was 2.92. And don't forget, as you all remember, last year, he had two no-hitters going into the ninth inning before shit hit the fan. Same time, the first player came up, they had a home run in the ninth inning and just shot him right down. But if he can keep doing what he did last year, the way he finished off last year, yes, he can probably end up being definitely being a Cy Young Award candidate. You just never know what's going to happen, right? But yeah, tweet by Keegan Matheson. I follow him a lot. Bowden Francis sounds very happy and comfortable building up as a true starter for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bowden says, I can be myself out there right now. Being in the pen, it felt like a little more crunchy. I couldn't use my full arsenal. It felt rushed, just like any bullpen guy. Oh, we need you, right-hander, left-hander. And they got to get up real quick. They got to exercise. They got to get in shape, stretch the middle, throw a few balls, and then they're rushed right back in. So, yeah, I get what he means. But it all depends on your personality, right? And his personality, he has a great mindset. So, we're just going to show a little video. So, here's last year. I think it was his first no-hitter. I don't know if it was the first or second. I can't remember that. But it was against the New York Mets. And the way he ended up the season last year, the 13 starts that he did, even like pitchers from the opposite team are taking the cap off for him, just showing how much respect they got for Mr. Bowden Francis. And the same as the rest of the team, he pitched phenomenal last year, and hopefully he can do the same this coming season. So here's another tweet by Prospect Vibe Check. So Bowden Francis was a league winner for a whole lot of teams with his performance down the stretch. So naturally the question is, can he keep it up in the 2025 season? The answer, probably, but there's reasons for concern. But he is actually out of all the starting pitchers that we have, there's 6 of them right now. He's the youngest. I think he's 28 right now. The rest of them are in their 30s, mid-30s, pushing 40, like Max Scherzer. And one thing about Max Scherzer, you'll see Bowden Francis. He'd be tied to his hip, trying to get as much information out of him as possible because, Bowden Francis, he's a calm, collective guy. He's cool on the mound. Max Scherzer, he's so competitive and down to business, and you can probably show him a lot of his tricks too. So I think it's a huge signing of the Blue Jays to pick Max Scherzer up to help out a lot of these young guys, especially Mr. Bowden Francis. It's definitely going to help him out this year. But another tweet by Keegan Matheson. Max Scherzer had a ton of Blue Jays coaches and pitchers watching him throw. That was the other day. More than we'd ever typically see for one of those sessions. And I wonder why. He's going to become a Hall of Famer soon. And right alongside Scherzer, walking back to the clubhouse, is the one and only Bowden Francis. So you're going to see Bowden Francis. He's going to be hanging out with Max Scherzer as much as he can, trying to get as much information, because it's probably going to be Max Scherzer's last year. Okay. So Blue Jays GM Ross Atkins said that Rodriguez would be entering spring training as a starting pitcher, which made many believe that he would be competing with Francis for the final starting spot, but that does not seem to be the case. Blue Jays pitcher Bowden Francis seems to have the 5th rotation spot, and Rodriguez will be used as a backup option. You know, I kind of thought the same thing. Ross Atkins was asked about that, about Rodriguez, and he said that, well, he's going to be competing for the 5th spot from Bowden Francis. But I didn't believe that. You know, if somebody gets hurt, of course, Rodriguez, he's going to pop in there to fill in one of the starting pitcher's positions. So, but yeah. So the MLB insider Keegan Matheson recently sat down with Francis to talk to him about his comfort level as a full-on starter this season, in which he said that he feels much more free than when he was pitching out of the bullpen last year. Kudos on him. So, another tweet by Matheson, and he says, Francis is the 5th. And the guy before that, Kyle C, says, he's in competition for the 5th spot with Rodriguez, according to the Blue Jays organization, so nothing is assured yet. It is assured. Trust me, just like Matheson just said, and I thought the same way as soon as Max Scherzer got in. So, Rodriguez going down to the bullpen, and Francis is going to be the 5th man on the rotation. Something could happen. I don't know, but that's the way I feel right now. But yeah, Matheson says Rodriguez is staying stretched out as the next option if there is any injury. So there you go, folks. All right. So everybody seems to love Bowden Francis now, but a lot of people did not like him at the beginning. Back in 2022, as a lot of us remember, a lot of the Blue Jays fans were very angry at the front office for trading Rowdy. Remember Rowdy Tellez? So Rowdy was traded for Bowden Francis back in 2022. So I think that trade certainly helped out on the Blue Jays sides. All right, and here is Mr. Francis percentile rankings and his movement profile. So he has right now 5 pitches that he throws in his arsenal. He's got a 4-seamer, he's got a split, he's got a curve, he's got a slider, and he's got a sinker. 51% of the time he throws his 4-seamer, and then the 2 other favorite pitches that he has is a splitter and his curveball. The slider he uses 9%, the sinker he doesn't use that as much. So yeah, that's his percentile and his movement profile. So here's Mr. Bowden Francis. He was drafted back for, as you know, the trade between Rowdy and Francis. He was a 7th round pick by the Milwaukee Brewers. He is 28. That's what I thought. He was drafted back in 2017. And he has played 3 seasons. 2022, he only played 1 game. But he traded off to the Blue Jays in 23. And he played 1 game. Oh, he played 20 games. So he was playing out of the bullpen back in 23. And last year, he was in 27 games. But out of that 27 games, he was a starting pitcher for 13 games of it. Remember when Alek Manoah got hurt? Well, that's when Bowden Francis came out and showed his stuff. So we're gonna go up to the next one. Here is his current role. So he's a starting pitcher. He was acquired in Milwaukee in 21. He got drafted 2017, round 7. Drafted team with Milwaukee Brewers. And right now, he's a free agent in 2029. He has 1 year service. So in 2026, he has eligibility for go to arbitration, see if he can make more money. So how do you guys feel about Mr. Bowden Francis? Do you think he's a possible Cy Young candidate for this coming season? If he can pitch like he has pitched at the end of last season, the last 13 innings, most certainly, I think he can become a Cy Young Award candidate. It just, as long as he stays healthy, keeps doing his thing, keeps staying positive, but having Max Scherzer in his back pocket and getting him to help out with whatever problem he has, and just understand baseball a little more, is greatly going to help. Well, thank you all for coming in to East Coast Blue Jays. I'm your host, Patrick McGraw. And if you haven't done it already, give us a little like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And leave a little comment below. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Like I always say, let's go Jays.